Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and I am here today to review Dear Santa. This movie, I kind of heard about it. I mean, it was like, okay, there's this movie with this like really cool premise and like a really easily identifiable premise. A kid writes to Satan instead of Santa Claus because he has dyslexia, and then Satan is played by Jack Black, and he comes and shit happens. So right off the bat, when I started watching this movie, I think that I was expecting a different kind of movie because, I mean, that premise is really cool, and I feel like it could have made for a terrific 80s horror comedy. I mean, the writing was on the wall in terms of, I mean, this is Satan we're talking about. This isn't Santa Claus. And, I was expecting something with like, like an 80s feel, old school practical effects, kind of like Gremlins. I was expecting like a Gremlins type of movie, but a little bit more. I mean, obviously, because it's just Satan and it's not like a bunch of gremlins. And I don't know. I guess I was expecting something a lot different than what we got. I was expecting more of a horror movie, more of like Psycho Goreman, if you guys have ever seen that. That movie was really good, actually. That was surprisingly good. But then the movie was going on, and this movie's kind of a long movie, I will say. Like, it feels a little long, but I didn't mind it after I got used to it. But after like 30 to 40 minutes, I was telling Safi, this movie's like a Hallmark movie. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, this is a movie about a kid, and Satan is giving him Christmas wishes, and it's like a Hallmark movie. And it's feel good, and it's heartwarming and shit, and like, I was like, what is going on? And then on the other hand, the other weird thing is that part of the movie actually did have a bit of an 80s feel in terms of being mean-spirited. They had this one plot, and I'm not going to spoil the movie, but I'll just say they had these adults who were really, really mean. And, they were mean in terms of, like, how they were in, like, 80s movies, when you'd have, like, really shitty-ass adults. And, it was, like, satirical still, but, like, it was weird because it kind of shifted a little bit with that, like, on the one hand, the whole movie was like a Hallmark movie, but then on the other hand, they would have these little dark elements, and then they had this other dark element. But anyways, this movie took a lot of getting used to, because I was kind of shell-shocked. I was kind of surprised, like, whoa, wait, what? What movie are we watching here? Like, this is a Dear Santa, but it's Satan, and it's like a heartwarming children's movie, and it's heartwarming, and it's really, really weird. This is the weirdest, and I mean, this is the weirdest movie that I have seen all year. It was so weird. Just like Rachel Ziegler would say. You guys know how much I love Rachel Ziegler. And then I looked up, and apparently the guy who made this movie made Champions. And then it all made sense, and I was like, whoa, okay. Well, that explains everything. He's doing his thing. I mean, this is exactly like Champions. Exactly like it. It's heartwarming. It has great performances. It's funny. I laughed quite a few times in the movie. I thought that Jack Black was hilarious. And even though Jack Black has had a lot of controversy recently, I really loved his performance in this movie. I thought he was the best part of the movie. And it's funny because, last year I wrote a script that I'll probably never make. But it was like kind of like a script to help manifesting my anxiety going away. And it was kind of like the opposite of this, but it reminded me so much of it because I had Jack Black like in the movie, like I imagined him as the character, and it was so much like this that it was just like it was kind of almost like watching a version of that movie in a way, except in that movie it was a little bit different, because it wasn't Christmas related or anything, but yeah. So this movie, it just, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I just gotta say, like, I really, really like this movie in a weird way. Because I feel like I can still see the potential for a good horror movie. And I was kind of hoping for like a horror comedy Christmas movie. And instead, I got this completely different movie. And it was very predictable, just like Champions. But it was so heartwarming. It was so good. And you know how I just watched that stupid Spellbound movie? That movie's getting a downgrade after watching this. But after I just watched that Spellbound movie where it's all about like the parents turned into monsters because they need to get divorced, it's just like, God, fuck off. Like this is a fucking fairy tale movie for fucking children, and you're talking about divorce and shit, like fuck off. And this movie, I am gonna spoil it because I want you guys to see this movie. I think it's a good movie, and I highly recommend it. If you like this sort of movie, it's a heartwarming kids kind of movie. It's really funny. I would highly recommend it. But the parents through the whole movie, one of the things I did not like about it was the parents. They were really unlikable. And they were fighting the whole movie because the main kid's brother had died in a car accident, and so they might be getting a divorce. How cliche is that? And at this point, at a certain point, I was like, you know what? I'm getting sick and tired of these kids' movies now where it's all about parents getting divorced, and it's all about a single mother and a child, or a single father and a child. I'm getting sick and tired of that shit. I just want a fucking movie with a real family, a father and a mother and a child, or multiple children. I'm sick and tired of this divorce bullshit. I'm sick and tired of these families being torn apart. I'm sick and tired of America being destroyed. This movie said, fuck that. We're going to have the parents get together at the end of the movie. And it's funny because when that was Liam's final wish, and of course it was very cliche. He was like, I'm not going to make all the wishes and you're not going to get my soul. And then he made the third wish and his parents to be happy together. But it's so funny because when they got together, I felt like this would have happened anyway, because, it felt like something that was natural to happen, and it felt like it was meant to happen, but then it was actually revealed that it did happen without Jack Black doing his wish fulfillment capability, his magic. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, it has all the the things that you would expect. Like, I could see people hating this movie, and honestly, like, you couldn't make me hate this movie, because there's so many movies nowadays, and they're bad and they make me pissed off and they put me in a bad mood. And even if you have a movie like this, it's like this movie makes you feel good. The guy who makes this movie and who made Champions, he knows how to make movies that make you feel good. And that's something that's severely lacking from the movies department nowadays. You know, nowadays it's all about feeling bad. Like, let's go to the movies for this year. Okay. Let's talk about some ones that people think are incredible. They're big fucking pieces of shit. Okay. Well, let's not mention Borderlands, because that is one of the worst movies of the year. The Substance. People think The Substance is a masterpiece. All The Substance is a man-hating movie. It has no relevance whatsoever in anything. It's just pure, unadulterated hate towards men. And it's really bizarre. You know, Safi watched that movie last week or the week before, and she will not stop ranting about that movie. You know, like, she has gone on ranting and ranting, and I was like, Safi, we should just do a video where we talk about this movie for an hour, because, like, she cannot get over how bad that movie was. Then let's see, Harold and the Purple Crown. Ugh, was that movie a fucking wet blanket of a movie? You know, I mean, that movie was such a negative piece of crap movie. Beetlejuice tried to be positive, but it turned into a piece of crap. Let's see. Long Legs. That movie was like an hour and 30 minutes that I'll never get back. Let's see. Gladiator 2. That movie was really predictable and lame. I'm trying, because I'm trying. The movies this year have just been pretty weak. I mean, the Apprentice movie, that was really negative, all about the making of Trump and everything, and you know, that's really negative, especially if you don't like him. It was just a negative movie because it felt like the way that the movie was it had like a negative feeling the entire time. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes ended on kind of a negative note. Deadpool and Wolverine had heart, and that's why Deadpool and Wolverine, that's why people love that movie, because it had heart, and the guy got the girl at the end of the movie. You know, people are getting sick and tired of these fucking movies in Hollywood where the guy doesn't get the girl. You know, they're sick and tired of this disgusting feminazi trash. I mean, even Juror Number 2, even though that's my favorite movie of the year, it's a very, very negative movie. It's completely negative. It makes you feel like really, really nervous and anxious, and like you're the one who is like having to like cover up this murder that you might have committed, you know, and like, yeah, but I just gotta say, like, we're severely lacking in like movies that make you feel good, and movies that have good messages, and movies that have good characters. I mean, this movie was a perfect movie in terms of like, yeah, I could criticize this movie, I could tear it apart in terms of, you know, what I expected versus what I got, but sometimes when you watch a movie and you get something different than what you expected, you just have to go with it. You know, you can't say, oh, I wish it was this and I wish it was that. It's like, you know, maybe they'll make the horror version of this movie. I just thought it was super weird how by the end of the movie you were kind of like, wow, he's really not such a bad guy. And I thought, like, you know, there has to be something more going on, and spoiler alert, he does not turn out to be Satan. He turns out to be a random demon in training or something. So, yeah. I think that they did that just so that you wouldn't think that Satan was cool, because like if you did, it's like they would think that that was bad, you know, or maybe they wouldn't get funding if they made it that way. So in terms of food, this movie is like a classic turkey dinner. It is just completely filling, comforting for the whole family. It's great. I mean, you got the mashed potatoes and gravy, which I think is the best part, because here's the thing. Mashed potatoes and gravy makes every single element of the turkey dinner good or better. Turkey, cranberry sauce, vegetables, rolls, stuffing. All those elements of a good classic American turkey dinner are made better by gravy and mashed potatoes. And this movie, and here's more spoilers. This movie was so anal about about giving everyone a happy ending and just ending it on such a happy note that they had like a post-credit scene or like a mid-credit scene where these two minor side characters get to have like a happy ending together. And I was just like, wow, like they would never do this in any other movie, but like a movie like this made by this guy who made Champions. He really is a champion. I mean, he makes predictable movies, but wow, he makes good movies, because I really enjoyed this one. It isn't a perfect movie. I mean, obviously, you know, it is predictable. There's even a sad period in the movie, and you guys know how much I like sad periods. But I would highly recommend this movie. So please like this video and comment. Tell me what you thought of Dear Santa. I know that some people are going to hate the movie. I know that Jack Black has had a lot of controversy recently, but I really don't care. He's not Kevin Spacey. He's a lot better than Kevin Spacey and people like that. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest movie reviews. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.